I think maybe he's inclined not to get in the race. I think it's going to depend on what happens with Hillary Clinton. A lot of people think that she will not be able to make it legally from a criminal standpoint to the starting gate. I don't know that to be true. But I think it depends on what happens with her. I think if she gets out, he will get in. I think if she stays in, he might not. Who knows?
It's pretty clear. Donald Trump talking about Joe Biden. He thinks that if Hillary stays in this race, he is not going to be entering it. If she starts stumbling and badly and maybe he's forced out, he does. Karl Rove, on that, Karl Rove wrote a brilliant column today sort of handicapping that Democratic race and the trouble Hillary Clinton's in. And I think even without Joe Biden, she stumbles in those first caucuses and primaries, right?
Yeah, I think so. You know, South Carolina and Nevada are different than New Hampshire and Iowa. I think she's going to probably lose Iowa and New Hampshire. But then I think the calendar turns out to be her friend. South Carolina and Nevada, if Bernie Sanders is in the race, those help her. And then you go to March 1st. And in March 1st, you've got Arkansas, Massachusetts, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Texas, all of which she won in 2008. And then you have four southern states, Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, and Virginia, that she lost, but there I think she's going to have a better shot than Bernie Sanders, particularly if the African-American Democratic leadership falls behind her, as they appear to be.
All right. You know, what's interesting, though, about that is she would then be losing, by your guesstimate, Iowa and New Hampshire. Has anyone ever done that and come back to win?
Oh, sure. Well, in fact, look, very rarely does somebody win Iowa and New Hampshire.
I mean, but you have her losing both.
Yeah, and look, but I think Bernie Sanders has a home field advantage in New Hampshire, coming from the state next door. But yeah, but people have come from losing some of those early contests to winning later on. Yeah, and particularly since we have a different environment this time around and a collapsed calendar. I mean, think about it. On March 5th, we have Florida, Michigan, Ohio, and Missouri. She won the first three and basically split Missouri with Claire McCaskill helping Obama last time around, and now Claire McCaskill's leading the charge for. I mean, I think those states are going to be very difficult for a self-described democratic socialist from granola-eating Burlington, Vermont to win. Not all Democrats live in places like Ann Arbor and Berkeley or Boulder or Burlington. They live in real America, and I think it's going to be hard for him to really relate to those people.
Well, you know, a lot of real Americans eat granola, or I've heard. Not me, but I think they do.
Yeah, a lot of people eat vegetables, which I think you probably
are exactly
well,
right, young man.
Have very little real experience with.
I hear you. I hear you. But Karl, the other thing I want to ask you is, all of this assumes that the race is as it is. In other words, with the characters we have. And now Joe Biden, let's say he enters this race. Donald Trump's opinions notwithstanding that he doesn't think he will. Then what?
Well, first of all, I think Biden, you know, I originally thought Biden had a lot of time to decide to jump in. Then I began looking at the deadlines by which some of these states require you to begin filing, or the deadline for filing. And really, he's got only maybe a matter of weeks to make this decision to get in. Otherwise, he's going to miss being on some of these early contests. But look, I think he does better in blue-collar places. You know, he does well probably in parts of Missouri and Michigan, as I put in my column. But again, I'm not certain that he's got a better relationship with black Democrat leaders in the South to be able to pry them apart. Now, I say this with some regret, because if he were the Democratic nominee, there is no way the Democrats could escape that this is a third term for Barack Obama. With Hillary Clinton, they got real problems with that, but they have no chance of escaping it if Vice President Biden is running for president and is the Democratic nominee. Hillary's got a slightly better shot of doing it because she's an independent personality who existed before the president in the consciousness of the American people, and we'll try and do a little bit of splitting from her.
Karl, I pledge to always listen to you on these matters. Karl Rove. All right, in the meantime, we told you why this Trump anger is resonating. Look what happened in Chicago and how it hit Mayor Rahm Emanuel hard.
Quicker, smarter, earlier, fresher, harder. And yeah, even on Sundays.